Hey guys, how are you? It's Zach from Zach Love Books. Thanks for tuning in. We're back again. This time I thought we'd cover something a little bit more fun today. I'm trying to come up with different ideas of things I'm going to cover, and the ideas just aren't stopping. Like the ideas are coming non-stop to me, which is amazing. So this is a fun one because I can kind of do this one off the cuff. So today I'm going to talk about coffee table books. Some of the videos I've seen online cover coffee table books like Tom Ford and some architectural books and fashion design books. I don't own any of those. It's not really my thing. I think that like coffee table books should be something a bit more personable, to more personal to what your likes are and maybe like, what you want out on the coffee table when people come over. So, I have a few. You can't have like 100 of these things laying around. There's no space. But sometimes I like to rotate what I leave out, just in case somebody comes over, or if like somebody comes over to watch my son or something, like my mother-in-law or my mom, I just leave something out in case they want to peruse through it, as opposed to being a magazine. Just a good coffee table book does it every time, and even for when guests come over. So where do we start here? I'll start with this. I'm a big collector of like books on the Caribbean, fiction, nonfiction. I'm in love with the old Caribbean feel of like Jamaica, Barbados, Saint Martin, Saint Lucia, all those uh, Caribbean nations that aren't really Americanized. Um, so I love the architecture of those old plantation houses and chattel houses in Barbados, and I could never visit all those countries and see them all. But this book, Caribbean style, is like amazing. It just has like beautiful pictures of old plantation houses, um, you know, with these beautiful coral pink colors that you see like when you go on vacation in the Caribbean, all this old furniture that's been weathered by the salt air. I could spend hours looking through this. I have a few times. I can't look at it, all in one sitting, but it's a beautiful book. I don't know if you can still pick this one up anywhere. I actually picked it up for $6 at our local used bookstore, which in Toronto, the big chain we have is BMV, which stands for Books, Music, Video. It's not like you can walk into your local BMV and find one right away either. But if you can find one and you like going to the Caribbean and you like the look of the architecture there in those old plantation houses, then this is a worthwhile one to pick up. Also, we have Joe Walker's Barbados. I have a love affair with Barbados. My wife's grandmother used to have a house there in the North Coast. And when I went there and went on the local buses, I just fell in love with all the architecture and the chattel houses. And so, Joe Walker's Barbados is Joe Walker is like a national treasure of Barbados. She does a lot of watercolors, and you might know some people that have some of her artwork on coffee mugs or like little plates that you use for cookies and hors d'oeuvres and things. You can get those at the airport in Barbados, but you might also want to pick up this Joe Walker's book of paintings. She's basically a watercolor artist, but in this book, you'll see. She doesn't only do chattel houses. She also does like flowers and things like that. But this is what she's kind of known for. Like she just captured a piece of Barbados history with these chattel houses, and there's hundreds of watercolor paintings in here that she's done. So you may want to get that, but this you might only be able to get in Barbados. It'll cost you like $50 US in the airport. Well worth it though. Like I said, if you're into the Caribbean thing like I am, these are both gems to have on your coffee table, and they'll always make you think of the Caribbean. you know, while you're sipping a rum and coke, and they always take you back there. And one of my personal favorites, I'm a big Die Hard fan. Basically, I love the first and second one more than anything. So we have a bookstore chain in Toronto called Indigo. You know, it's like our chapters, like our I don't know what the other big chain is in the States there, Barnes and Noble. But when I saw this there on sale for like $15, I had to snap it up because normally this would cost like $60. But you know, I've seen Die Hard 1 and 2 like a million times, but here's just a beautiful book. And it's got all these little cool bonus things in it. You know, here's the pictures of Hans Gruber, you know, that Interpol had and whatnot. Classic scenes, little vignettes inside, like of outtakes, photo shoots from the set. If you're a Die Hard fan, you'll love this. May be out of print now, but if you look around, you might be able to find it. These are the kind of things I think that everyone should kind of collect. You know, whether it's based on a favorite movie, based on a favorite book. It's like a storyboard for Die Hard 1 there. I don't pick this up often, but I'm glad that I own it. I'm glad that I picked it up for $15. Because normally this thing would probably retail for $60 or $70, but there were like 2 or 3 left. Picked one up, and it's a keeper. Another one of my favorites, Bob Marley. You know, because I'm a fan of the Caribbean, obviously. I'm a fan of Jamaica. I'm a fan of Bob Marley. Always have been for a long time, since I was a teenager. I should own more of these. I just don't have space for them. But this is one that I have. There's a few more I want to pick up. I just don't have space for these coffee table books. But once again, you know, Jamaican icon Bob Marley, you know, will live on forever. And these books, you know, if you own the music and listen to the music, you should also collect these. They have beautiful pictures in them. They tell all about his life, all the albums, all the music, all these untold stories that you may not know. And once again, they have cool little things like this, you know. Flyer, backstage pass. I love looking at this stuff. And I love Bob Marley. I think he's going to turn 80 this year if he was alive. I got my son into Bob Marley. And like I said, this isn't the only one. There's more. There's probably about 3 or 4 of these that exist. But I got this one for $15. Normally it's probably 30 or 40. And I like to get a good bargain. And it's also great to look at. This one I found, you know, it's called Lost New York. It's really cool. I'm a big fan of old black and white photographs of cities, and you know, that old black and white footage that you see being colorized now on YouTube. But you know, I'm a big fan of old New York, so when I found this in a little library, I snapped it up. You know, it's the kind of thing I could peruse for hours, seeing these horse and buggies in Central Park, and seeing all these places that, you know, existed in New York at one point, which were either demolished, torn down, destroyed by fire, that are no longer here, and to be able to read about these great places that had, you know, beautiful architecture and just pieces of history that don't exist, and being able to read about, you know, how they were built, what they looked like, what they were for, and just a slice of New York heyday here. You know, places like Penn Station, which they tore down for, I don't know why. Old Penn Station was beautiful. The Astor Mansion. So you'll see a lot of old money names in here. Waldorf Astoria. That's when I found. I could just get lost in this for like hours. This one actually I'm getting rid of just because I don't have space for it. But, you know, in case you're interested, I know there's also like, this is Lost New York. There's probably a Lost Toronto, Lost Chicago. This one was free for me. So that's another one. And I'm saving the best one for last. This is like the Godfather of them all. No pun intended. But this is one of my favorite ones. I must have picked this up about 10 years ago because I'm a big fan of the Godfather movies. I love all three of them. I've watched them a million times. I mean, if one of these existed for all three, I'd probably pick up all three. I actually really don't even have space for this here. You know, I have it up. For a long time I had it in the plastic. I took it out. Check out the back. An album you can't refuse with the classic Michael Corleone pick. But once again, and this is something I pick up every now and then. You know, have I read much of it? No, I mean, this is something you just pick up every now and then, read a bit here and there. You learn some fascinating history about the making of the movie, behind the scenes, how it was made, the actors. There's Marlon Brando. Normally I don't buy things like this, and I remember when I worked at the bookstore and they were going to close down, you know, and I always noticed this on the shelf, but I never wanted to, you know, pay $100 for it or whatever it was. And before they closed my bookstore down, I said, you know, I couldn't even see what the inside looked like. I said, I have to pick this up, you know. I mean, I had the money at the time and I was obsessed with the movie, and I'm like, I don't have that many coffee table books. If I'm gonna pick something up, you know, then that I love and that I'm gonna own forever, maybe even pass down to Benny once I get him into my son into the Godfather movies, then this is gonna be one that he's gonna inherit from me. Just a classic, just like the movies. Now, I have a few more coffee table books, but you know, I'm just kind of passing the time of the length of the video that I want to do, so that's just a little sampling. Let me know in the comments, you know, what your coffee table books are. If you have any suggestions of anything else I might like, I'll probably be reviewing more of them in another video, but that's it for now. I'll just leave you guys with that. Okay? See you next time.